joined here by Dan Bannon from the Louth and Proud Podcast. So yeah, obviously the news broke last night, Dan, that Mickey Harte was appointed Louth manager. So I just wanted to get some opinion from a Louth point of view, obviously, because I mean that's a massive appointment for Louth. I'd imagine you're a happy man at the moment, anyway.
Aaron, I'm over the moon. You can see the Christmas tree behind me. I put that up because Christmas has come early. in terms of as a Louth fan, Louth person, Louth people, like we're on national news for a good reason. I suppose it's been a massive appointment. It's caught the imagination of everyone. There was a little inkling last week. I did a podcast on it, just dreaming about it because I would have listened. Like you listen, you're ear to the ground. I was watching the coverage on BBC between Cavan and Down, and Mickey Harte was on it as an analyst, and he was there with Oisin McConville, and they were talking about management. And Mickey says, "Yeah, like it would still interest me." And then subsequently that Monday, Oisin McConville goes on the Second Captain's podcast, and they ask him about management, about you're working with Mickey, how did that go? And McConville kind of said, "Oh, I can see him getting back into management." And they said, "Oh, what about Armagh?" And then just before, it was something twigged in my mind that right, there's a chance here that he might be going to Louth. It was like just the way it was left in the atmosphere, and like I was worried that he'd go to Antrim because Antrim would be a nice project for Mickey in terms of building up the county, because they have an untapped kind of resource there. They're a sleeping giant in my opinion. But then the fact that he might have to face Tyrone would kind of unsettle him. Mickey has Louth ties. His brother lived in Louth for years since the deceased. He would have friends in Louth as well. So it just accumulated. And we have Peter Fitzpatrick, the chairman, who is a man that he would have no filter, but he can go for it. He can just kind of ask these questions with no worry at all, you know.
And I suppose
yes, go on, sorry.
No, I was just gonna follow up what you were saying there, just in regards to you must be very happy with the Louth County Board as well, because as you mentioned there, like I think with Mickey Harte and Antrim, that definitely could have been a possibility, and I think he even said on the BBC that he was definitely still considering management. So I suppose it was up to a county like Louth to, I suppose, approach him and kind of pull the trigger him anyway. So I'd imagine he must be fairly happy with the fact that they did approach him and everything was done fairly quickly as well.
Yeah, and there's no real messing with Peter Fitzpatrick. Like he's kind of like he's a lucky manager. He's cute. He's very cute, but he's a successful businessman. He's a very well regarded politician now locally. He's the sort of man that asks the question that others wouldn't. And if you don't ask the question, you don't get your answer. So he would know Mickey Harte quite well through footballing circles and politically as well. He you know what I mean. He asked Mickey, persuaded him. He's a master persuader, and it worked a treat. Like he charmed probably Mickey, and it was attractive. It's an attractive kind of offer for Mickey to get back into management. He probably didn't want to do club management, didn't want to manage his own county, but like the expectations are low in Louth. Like he's coming into Division 4, so he's obviously going to get a bounce out of Louth, and there's a chance there for short-term success and maybe building on a long-term project as well.
And I suppose, like, what do you think is the expectation now maybe for Louth kind of going ahead into, I don't know, the next coming years, 2021? And I suppose obviously it'd be slow progress, but do you think maybe that there is, because even like when you look at some of the forwards in the team, like Samuel Roy even there, for example, like you never know, like there might be a potential for Louth to maybe be, you know, somewhat competitive in Leinster. And I say that obviously taking Dublin out of the equation, but in regards to all the other counties, there's definitely a chance they could be competitive.
You take Leinster out of Dublin out of Leinster, and it's very, very competitive championship. Mickey even makes us kind of believe, or maybe instills that outsider mentality with Dublin as well. So he brings that also. But like you say there, like Samuel Rice obviously shot the lights out this year, but there is a young core there of talented players. They got to a Leinster minor final for the first time in a long time in Louth. They're coming now at that right age of development. The age profile in the Louth panel is quite young. It has potential. And then there's also the other factor of there's players that have walked away in this past couple of years. So you're looking at Mickey's going to attract them back in straight away. He's going to get players that might be on the cusp of what not committing. Mickey's going to get them. Even if he doesn't get them, they're going to hear what Mickey has to say. They're going to be nosy and they're going to come in and say, what's this all about? Or we'll have a look, we'll have a scope. Or even lads that we're thinking about retiring, they might hang on for another year. So he's bringing all that. He's going to get all the players. I'd say the trial numbers are going to be off the record. Like they're probably going to need 5 or 6 pitches to get all these trial games played. Because he's going to attract that. And then on the other side of it as well, off the field, he's already attracted national attention, like in terms of the media, in terms of good publicity, like I said at the start. But we're building it. We're in the process of building the stadium as well. You know, Mickey's going to bring money in terms of sponsorship profile to the county, and that's all going to help. And then hopefully, with all that going well at the top end, you're hoping then at the bottom it's going to encourage young fellas to start playing football, get them out again, like get parents involved more, to volunteer more, and maybe shake and kind of like an injection of like what Paddy O'Shea did with Westmeath, or Micko with Kildare and Laois. He's going to shake that injection to maybe get the towns going. Like they're massive potential in the 2 towns, like 2 really high urban dense populations in Dundalk and Drogheda, two of the 2 largest towns in Ireland. Just getting them a little rattle and a little shake, and then hopefully then become self-sustainable, and maybe that will be Mickey's legacy.
Yeah, like for myself personally, I definitely see this as a massive appointment especially for a county like Louth, and even for Mickey to even take that job as well. I think it's great for Gaelic football as well to see kind of high profile managers taking jobs. You know, what would be perceived as some of the lesser known counties, like you've Jack O'Connor and Kildare as well. And like ironically enough, you'll actually have more like obviously that if Dublin win the All-Ireland this year, you know, Desi will have 1 All-Ireland medal, but you'll have Mickey and Jack O'Connor with Louth and Kildare who will actually, you know, have more All-Ireland medals than anyone else. So I suppose, yeah, like I'd imagine there's definitely a lot of excitement at the moment within Louth football.
Oh, it's unbelievable excitement. Like my phone was hopping last night. It's hopping all morning. And people are just interested in it. They're even parents, you're talking to parents, and they're like, geez, like the kids have to go to the first game, like even just go down and see them. Like, you know, that hasn't been talked about recently. Like there has been an apathy there in Louth football in terms of clubs not wanting players to play for the county. Kids are walking away from it. No one really wants to wear a Louth jersey. You see it creeping in more and more that it's just Dublin that they want to be wearing those jerseys, they want to be those players. And that's not good. Like that's like, it's brilliant for Dublin. They're brilliant role models. Don't get me wrong. But if you want to compete and if you want GAA to keep going in these like weaker counties, you need your home county doing well and being attractive. And if anything, it's given us that boost.
And I'd imagine kind of going into next year, I'd say like the main priority really will be to get out of Division 4 for starters anyway, and then kind of build from there. And I suppose when you look at Division 4, like it's definitely very competitive down there. Like there wasn't much to split the teams last year. So I suppose like with Mickey in there, that'll definitely be a goal that's, I suppose, very achievable.
Yeah, that's the short-term goal we're looking for. That's like get that initial bounce of Mickey getting all the players back in, getting a good training base, getting the fans behind it. And then you're looking at getting out of Division 4. Regardless if you win it or not, just getting out of Division 4 and then going up the leagues. And then where Mickey's real kind of litmus test will be is the championship. Like we haven't had a championship run in 10 years. Like we've gone out after 2 games. We don't do well in the qualifiers. And hopefully Mickey instills that bit of pride in the county that hasn't been there, that has been lacking. Like the players have been dumped out like horribly in the championship the past few seasons. Like Antrim last year, Longford a couple of seasons ago, just horrible qualifier losses that just kind of leave a bad taste and a bad stink around the county. And you just hope that Mickey, like we've had relative success in the league. We have been in Division 2 as recently as 2018. So if Mickey comes in and does well in the championship, combined with the league promotions, that's going to be a success.
And yeah, and he's managing the under 20s, I believe, as well, isn't he? So I suppose that's even So there's even more kind of excitement there as well, because as you mentioned there, with some of the minor success with Louth, like getting to a minor final, I suppose like with the under-20s as well, that'll be, because that's kind of how Mickey started, is like he went with Tyrone, obviously he was with the minors and then the under-20s. So I suppose that's another great thing for Louth, I imagine, as well.
That's the big thing as well, and that's a big kind of clue in that he's not mailing it in. He's not just taking this job on. It shows that he's serious about the county, the job at hand, and wanted to invest a bit of time and get the structures right as well. That's good, because it looks like there's a bit of long-term thinking there as well, and it shows that he's interested. He's not just taking over the senior team and like everyone else. He's come in on board, and he's like, he wants to see what's there and wants to develop the players.
Yeah, because he's there. It's a 3-year deal, I think, as well. So that's
3-year deal.
Yeah, and that kind of shows, I think, that he's definitely in this for the long term anyway. Because I think when people heard this, they thought maybe it's going to be 1 year or maybe 2 at max. But I think when you see that it's a 3-year deal, I think it's fair to say that definitely, he might even stay longer as well. Depending on the whole situation. So there's definitely a lot of optimism in that kind of regards as well.
Yeah, hopefully, because you nearly get, like, he's kind of an institution, he'll come down. Like, I can't, like, in one way he goes out early and maybe leaves Gavin Devlin, or another way he stays there for 30 years. Like, who's gonna remove him? Like, I think he's gonna go that bad that he's not gonna get a bounce out. Let's know. He's starting at a low base, like, and then he always has that. He's gonna have massive credit in the bank. So yeah, I can't see him leaving, and I can see him staying longer than the 3 years regardless. So hopefully it does go well. But like he says himself, he's not judged on trophies. Like, he's judged on more beyond that. So he's a holistic man in his approach. So hopefully, yeah, please God, he does bring that with him, and it does stay longer than 3 years. I know I'm saying that now after day one of his announcement, but like, I know he is getting on and what have you, but the road from Ballygawley to Darver, the training centre, Louth Centre of Excellence, there's only an hour down the road. It's quite a good road as well, the motorway from Atnacloy right down to Castleblaney into the dock. So, like, he would probably find it harder to get into parts of Tyrone. So I don't know. I think it's set up for him. He has low expectations, and he looked to get his teeth into a nice project as well.
Yeah, well, look, listen, best of luck for Louth anyway. Like, obviously I'm based here in Dublin, but I'm more kind of around the Santry area, so I'm actually not too far from Drogheda, in all honesty. So I definitely love to see Louth kind of be competitive up there again, and definitely get back what they deserve in that 2010 situation. We won't mention that.
The whole other podcast, Garen.
Yeah.
No, we're still reeling from that. That probably set us back actually 10 or 15 years, to be honest. But like I said, that's for another day. And hopefully we do get competitive again. Like, we really need it. Leinster needs it. We need the shot in the arm for Gaelic football, regardless of like Leinster and all that. We need that injection and that shot in the arm. And hopefully it brings it. Thanks very much for bringing me on to GAA Fan TV. It's a delight to be on. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, no bother, and I'll link down the Louth and Proud podcast as well for any Louth fans who might be watching. And hopefully they'll go over and check you out.
Great stuff. Thanks, Aaron. Chat to you again.